really, really well. But instead they're going with a lumbar.
That's going to be a lumbar first pick here for Allegiance. Now, taking a look at what you had for that Superman, that's going to be, they needed the lumbar.
Take them
Look at that.
But it doesn't matter. L'Oreal and Tulin being picked up by Immortals. You want to talk about power picks in the hands of Immortals.
Yeah, they basically took Allegiance draft that they played on Wednesday and played it against them. And because Allegiance didn't first pick that Tulin, Immortals like, oh yeah, I'm going to take it right there. And Azuka is being picked by MTS here. I already love how this draft is playing out.
Wonder Woman as well, getting that comfortable side laner pick up here, but Ryoma is still on the board now. Immortals might look to grab that as well. Lubu as well is there he is an option here. X-Tier's playing that hero pretty well. A bit of high risk, high reward though. And you don't pick up that Superman friend, that's banned. Ryoma, there it is. Or the...
Ooh,
Omen worked out well for
did.
Bobo in game number 2 of the Immortals semifinals. But they're going to...
Yeah, they're going to deny the Ryoma from the side of KO, because KO is so good on Ryoma. But actually, it doesn't matter because if you think about it, the side lane is already picked. It's Zuka and Wonder Woman. And then Zeo will be picked up along with a potential Prada here, or is it going to be, okay, it's Zephyrs instead?
I think I would have, just because of how well we saw the Kali played earlier, with the combination from the lumbar, with those that double ult combo, I kind of want again to see that Kali over that Prada here, and I'm not super loving the Mina pick.
Ooh,
we saw it have
Mina.
okay value in the early game, but late game it just seemed to fall right off.
Yeah, Mina is a little interesting pick here. I wonder if they're going to go with Thane or even potentially...
Would like Thane better.
Yeah, Thane might be good, but Mina, they're going to go for the Mina pick here. And this is an aggressive, like, you dive us, then Mina is going to CC you, use the taunt ultimate to distract the enemy, and then let L'Oreal and Tulin just destroy them with the magic AoE damage they provide.
Yeah, you have to remember, with the CC that they have at their disposal, and the high damage with the L'Oreal Tulin combination, you can, if they catch out any of the carries, you're going to be able to take them down very quickly. And so positioning is going to be very key for the Allegiance team.
This is going to be huge for them here. I mean, positioning against the double mage with all the AoE damage is coming in, but because we're seeing that magic damage coming in, you can see some of that resist being built up.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of medallions of choice on the side of AOG. They're going to need to build that. You're going to see a lot of Pierce on the side of Immortals because they need to really pierce. But as long as Tulin and L'Oreal fight on top of each other, and Ryoma with his stun and his Spectral Ire, that's going to be a really hard composition to die. But if they get a good initiation and a good stun, you know, you have Wonder Woman, you have Zephyrs, that's a lot of CC and Lumber.
Potential. They have
and Lumber
potential.
too. Lumber is that's 3 CCs, you know, so...
Well, with that, it is going to be the picks locked in for every member, both Allegiance and Immortals. We know what the analyst thinks. We know what I think, but I want to know what you think. Take to Twitter and use the hashtag Valor Series to let us know your predictions on who is going to win. SK Gaming took the European bracket for week number 1. We're now down to Allegiance versus Immortals for that North American slot. For the last time, it is the finals match. We've got Invirum and we've got Suijay. Guys, let's make it happen.
Let's get into it. The first game of our grand finals here for North America. Allegiance up against Immortals to start this off. We see teams going for that invade. I'm not the least bit surprised. Except for the fact that X-Tiers is going to die. That's somewhat surprising. Or at least get forced out of lane. That's a little rough.
Yeah, they're gonna counter rotate and counter invade here, which is really good. And they get first blood on the Zuka. Well played by Bobo and KZ Fox here, and that gives them a huge first gold advantage.
Yeah, that's gonna be big for them here. 600 gold lead already coming out for them so far. But down in this bot lane, oh man, Ryoma is going to have a great time now putting additional pressure in here. We actually have beginnings in this mid lane now, just giving that additional helping hand to you know, that mid here as well, wanting to make sure, because of course she's a bit of a squishy target in the early game, especially before she gets her ult. She is a prime target for those ganks, so wanting to make sure that you've got the Mina there to have that additional protection.
Yeah, the thing about Zuko too, if he falls behind in the early game, he doesn't get his items, he won't get that huge damage spike, because what makes Zuko shine is when he's ahead, he has level advantage, and every level he gets, the more percentage damage amp he gets from his passive chi, which amps up his ability, his attack damage power burst when he uses an ability. So this is going to be really tricky for Zuko here if he constantly gets focused on. Look at the rotation from the side AOG here. They're coming right down onto Ryoma.
Yeah, Ryoma needs to be careful down there in the bottom, but the Spirit Sentinel is going to go the way of Immortals here. But Bobo senses it. His spidey senses are tingling. He knows they're missing on the map, and it is beginnings now who is getting forced around. The stuns are coming in. Look at all over the place. The knockup is there, and that is beginnings getting absolutely chunked, ripped apart, destroyed. And now it is 80's Heroes who is caught out up the creek without a paddle. A nice double kill coming in here for Allegiance.
Yeah, that was such a good poison gas bomb by Prada there. I mean, Sleepy used that to knock the Mina back into position after she flickered, and in the beginning just couldn't get out. So very, very well played there by Sleepy there with the poison gas bomb on Prada. I've never seen Sleepy play Prada, but he looks like he's doing it really well.
Yeah, starting off so far, feeling comfortable on that hero. I mean, once you sort of get those basics down, you can apply it across the board here as well. And we're really seeing, once you get to this highest tier pro level of play, you can pick up any hero if you need to and put it into play in the highest fashion, as the Abyssal Dragon is going to go the way of Immortals here, knowing that they chunked down the side of Legions here. I mean, they've given up 2 kills, but they're like, yeah, but we did some pretty decent health damage, so we're not going to take advantage of that and convert this on the map. And that is the point we kept making about them in that last series, the fact that Immortals are so good at converting kills into map objectives.
Yeah, they are. And look at Ress's position as Lumber. He is in a good position to give vision for his team. He's playing aggressive, asserting dominance on the map there, getting in the bush where they need to. That's how you want to play support. Even when you're slightly behind, you still want to do that because the information you get is going to help your team make a good decision to rotate either to top or bottom or to mid to make these ganks. However, Immortals, and look at Beginnings, Mina, he is also in their side of the jungle, getting vision onto the team. And everyone's just playing really cautious and really smart right now. I'm really impressed by how both these teams are playing.
Both teams are playing, how we like to say in the biz, they're playing with respect.
Yeah.
They're respecting their opponents here, respecting the fact that they have the combos on lock here. They have the ability to execute at a given moment.
Wow.
Here as Beginnings is going in.
That was such a nice position there to get onto the Prada. The Prada was charging, and while Prada was charging, they decided to jump onto Sleepy and delete him because we were almost Swilling Blade stun, was able to land, and then Mina was right there with the Death Scythe to grab him back. It was an amazing play, and now Immortals can now set up to get Sentinel or potentially push a tower, but they need to convert this kill into some objective here because that's how you win the game and get ahead. You snowball by getting these objectives constantly.
Yeah, I mean, Immortals there, I blinked and he was gone. That was just beautiful execution coming in from them. So 3 kills to 2 and a 1.
Oh, look at this bottom rotation.
Oh, they're going in, trying to find Zuka down here. And Bobo and crew, they have the taunt, they have the damage, and that is the execution. Beautifully done here for Immortals. No hesitation, no second guessing, only the takedown. But it is X-Tears here in the top lane who has accepted his fate, and he will fall in return. Almost identical rotations coming in from both teams with identical results.
Yeah, but he saved that tower, but because he cleared the wave there and just sacrificed, he denied that rotation from the side of Legion, so they're not able to get the tower, and this slows them down, and it allows Immortals to get 1 tower and also Abyssal Dragon, which is a net positive trade for them.
Yeah, Immortals coming out on top after that. A nice little play there in the top lane for Immortals to negate that. So both teams playing well, but again, at this high level of play, we're talking inches, not miles. It's the little things that matter, little things building on top of each other here, and that's going to be the big factor as this game progresses. Bobo needs to be cautious here as well. Mina is finding the opposing team. Beginnings to be in a bit of trouble. There's the ult, the knockup coming through. Rocker and crew are there. Look at the damage, and Mina is just gone. But Zuka once more, they're looking for 2 under the backline as well as X-Tears and crew are trying to rotate onto this, but they may have overextended a little bit too much as the team is splitting up. Both teams trying to isolate their chosen targets here. No, KZ Fox is going back in.
Oh, he gets the kill though.
He is trading on this. Now is the time to re-engage. The rest of the crew is here. Rest and Rocker are running for their lives. They're trying to get theirs the slow. The follow-up Rocker is running there. Nicely done. Immortals not quite converting on all those kills, but wait,
Prada is in trouble. Prada's not going to be able to get out of this alive here. And the knockup's going to come. Oh, he misses the knockup. That's pretty significant here for Prada. He's going to give enough time for him to distract the team. And let's see how long he can live here, and he's not going to make it. But really nice play there by KZ Fox. Able to get a kill. Even though it was a 1v3, he was able to secure the kill onto the Wonder Woman, which gave the fight at least an even trade and allowed Immortals to then follow Prada and get that kill there.
It was definitely a decent little play there for him. Maybe he could have retreated to the safety of his tower and lived, but instead he's like, nah, let's go all in. So 7 kills to 6, a very even game so far in terms of experience, in terms of these towers, in terms of gold across the board right now. Yeah. I want to say a slight lead for Immortals, but it's so close here.
Yeah, and look at this. Look at the Gilded Greaves on the side of LOG. They need to build that against Amina because when she uses her ultimate Dark Dominion, she taunts all nearby enemies for 2 full seconds. And that's something that they need to decrease that taunt to about 1.4 seconds with Gilded Greaves on. So that's a huge item to counter the CC coming out from beginnings here. But they're doing a good job of catching beginnings out. That's the second time that he got caught out. So he needs to be very careful with his positioning against ALG because they're going to punish him if he overextends like that.
And we've commented on this in draft. I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of the Mina per se, just because kind of squishy and no real escape mechanic. They pull enemies to you, and that's great. But sometimes you don't always want to pull them to you. As we have Scraps breaking out here in the top and in the bottom as well. Bobo is just gone, but in the bottom, the fight is breaking out. Beg's getting thrown up as well. The rest of the team are trying to back out right now as the Lumber is getting pulled around, and that is the ability we are talking about. We have the Zuka trying to peel for his team as best they can. Rest is running, actually able to get himself out of here right now. Nicely done.
What?
But look at the rotation coming in from Rocker and crew. They are trying to lock in the rest of Immortals here. They've stayed too long, and there's the taunt trying to pull them away now as KZ Fox is out deep behind enemy lines. 80-0 is here. Look at the damage coming in from 80-0. He's joined the fight in a big way right now, turning this around. KZ Fox is trying to take this right now to Rocker. Rocker may have gone too far. The whip doesn't connect from KO, and this is huge. Somehow Allegiance survives with only one death going their way. Immortals looking solid.
Yeah, earlier MTS did such a good play. Izuka got in front of the Tulin Thunderbird ultimate to save Lumber's life. I mean, what a good play there to save Rest, because if Rest died in that fight, they would not be able to re-engage like that. So that was a brilliant play by MTS on Zuka there.
Yeah, now they're going in onto the Wonder Woman, though. We are seeing the damage, but just so tanky here. Not able to take her down is the side of Immortals. It is still only 8 kills to 7, despite how much action we've seen in this game.
Yeah, and look at Immortals there. They know they have the advantage. They have the map control because the tier 1 tower on Dragon's side is down on the side of Allegiance. They take another Abyssal Dragon. That's 3 dragons stacked on the side of Immortals. It gives them such a good and decent gold advantage, and also a slight level lead, but not significant.
Nothing too major here. Looking at this, just 22.4 to 19.3, so not massive lead yet for Immortals. But as this late game starts to evolve, watch for Immortals to start looking towards this top side of the map. Bobo is looking at it now, and he's found that he is not alone. Unfortunately, they're not on his team. I was going to say look towards top of the map because the Darkslayer is going to become more of a factor as we move in here. But moving in is the side of Allegiance collapsing in here, but it's actually Rocker who might be the one in trouble, and MTS as well. 2 quick takedowns here for the side of Immortals, but the rest of Allegiance is here, and that is so much damage. And Beginnings is somehow still alive, but KO wants to take him down. Look at the slow coming in. I think Beginnings is done.
Wow, and look at that damn. I mean, that was crazy, the engage there. The Mina taunt that came out to kill Rocker, he engaged onto the whole enemy team under tower by himself, and then the amount of focus and damage. And then what happened was they jumped into Sleep Beast Plague Spectre, which then allowed Allegiance to come back slightly a little bit. But look at KZ Fox go in this Tulin here. Oh my goodness, he is just off the charts with the amount of damage and the aggression that's coming out from him.
KZ Fox is fired up, looking fancy there in the mid lane, showing off those pure mechanics. He is on fire right now. We talked about carrying the momentum in from the last game. He is demonstrating that here up against Allegiance. Allegiance, the #1 seed, now behind 9 kills to 13 and a 6K gold deficit.
Yeah,
this is where Immortals really starting to take off.
Yeah, one thing is they're constantly catching Bobo off guard. Bobo is such a strong side laner. He plays too aggressive, and Allegiance is constantly punishing Bobo because of his overextension on the side lane. So they're doing a good job of that, but Immortals always gets the better trade because of their team fighting right now. They're actually team fighting a little better than the side of Allegiance, but once Allegiance gets a Medallion of Troy, they need the L'Oreal and the Tulin needs to start building Pierce here, because that's going to be a huge part of their win here.
Speaking of L'Oreal, she is in the thick of things and instantly going to be deleted. 80-0 is gone. The 80s are long gone, and so is he. So that is a quick 2 kills going the way of Allegiance. Beautiful picks in the mid lane there, and they're going to convert this immediately into the tower. They have the minions here as well. I expect them to keep running this all the way down mid. They are going to keep this push going. Watch how fast they're going to take down this tower.
Yeah, that's 2 towers that they give down. I don't know what Bobo is doing. Bobo is basically proxying the wave now, creep cutting through there to allow so that basically Allegiance cannot push the mid lane anymore, but he needs to get out because they are clearly collapsing on him because they think that he's going to try to take the tier 2 turret on the top lane.
Yeah, he's able to get out, nicely done there, but now turning on this Darkslayer, it is going to be all Allegiance. I don't think there's a single chance. Wait, no! X-Tears is going to go in and try and snipe this, though the Darkslayer is getting very low, and it is going to go the way of Allegiance. This is huge. X-Tears now overcommitting. and underperforming as he is not able to take that Dark Slayer here. That is a huge benefit to the side of Legion's having the takedown, having that buff. They are going to push right
in that
down
last
mid.
fight there, you know, they're able to knock out L'Oreal, and 80's Hero was just out of position. They delete the L'Oreal instantly, and then KZ Fox gets jumped on. They lose the fight instantly. That was a really bad fight for Immortals here, and they need to turtle and not continue to give kills over because they're letting Allegiance get right back into the game. And like I said, this early game, this late game aggressive and team fighting, they're so good at doing this. And look at the damage that they're doing onto them.
Look at the target calling from Allegiance. Seeing KT Fox stepping just a little bit too far forward. He's off to the side. He's under 2 towers. They don't care. Instantly on him, using every cooldown at their disposal to make him instantly gone. And he's fairly nimble, too. He's not the easiest hero to lock down, but they made it look easy. This Zuka play has been so solid. MTS is a beast.
Yeah, and like I said, they're punishing. I mean, Allegiance is rotating better as a team late game. Like I said, this late game, they're better than Immortals when it comes to late game. How they're running. And look at the focus on L'Oreal here. And he looks like Preda's going to get the kill, and this is a huge push coming from the side of Legions here.
They do it all over again. They find the kills once more, finding that squishy backliner for the side of Immortals. Oh man, that was, again, the same play executed again beautifully. They isolate, they call their target, and the whole team is there with complete faith that the rest of the squad will be able to back them up. I love it. Allegiance is firing on all cylinders, and Rocker is going in, finding it in the back line, but KZ Fox is trying to take him down. Rocker may have gone too far. They're trading it, though. There's the pickup as well. Beginnings is trying to isolate the team. They have gone real deep right now. They need to be cautious, and Beginnings is going off. Is he going to fall, though? Yes, he does. Trading out, though.
Yeah, and all those kills puts Allegiance right back in the game. Now they're ahead of Immortals, man. Immortals had a huge lead. And like I said here, Allegiance in the late game is just a better team when it comes to rotations. Immortals is too split up. They're not trying to close this game out. They're just trying to farm still and split up. I don't know why they're doing that. And Allegiance is punishing them. They're catching them out. 80's Hero is just out of position as L'Oreal. They're able to catch him and kill him in every single team fight. And when L'Oreal goes down in these team fights, she's the one that's really good against the Zephyrs and the Panda and against Zuka, jumping around with her ability. And if L'Oreal is taken out, this game is basically over. So they have to be very careful. They have to fight together. Bobo can't get caught out. 80's Hero can't get caught out. And KZ Fox needs to then go in and dish out the damage as Tulin from the back line here.
Yeah, this is really crucial. I mean, for a moment there, the gold was identical for both of these teams. It basically is now. Allegiance has caught up, down 6k gold. They have rallied, but the party bush, spotted by KO here, was potentially alive and well as the Abyssal Dragon has been started here. But Rocker is going in, finding it. Death from above. Here it goes. The knock-up once more, but Rocker is getting chunked. But look at the damage coming in from Preda. But oh no, returning it is Immortals. They're trying it. They're actually ripping them apart here. The counterplay from Immortals.
And this might be the game.
Perfect.
That was huge. Like I said, they have to kill L'Oreal first. The fact that they did not focus L'Oreal means that he's able to clean up the team fight. And look at the damage coming up from L'Oreal, just carrying that entire fight. They all bunched up on top of her. She used her ultimate, and all that AoE damage just bursted down the entire side of AOG, and that was what won in the game. Because if they're focusing the Mina instead of the Tulin or the L'Oreal, they're in big, big trouble.
Yeah, but luckily, because of what they did in the early game, they still have the structures to survive here. And because of the backdoor mechanics as well, this is going to be so much harder. They cannot push this without the minions. I'm not even sure they are going to take a high ground tower. Look at the death timers. Allegiance is right back. Immortals functionally got nothing from that.
Yeah, however, Tulin is able to build Hikari. They both have Hikaris, they both have good peers, they both have Rhea's Blessing, which gives them a ton of lifesteal. There is no Cursed Death or Tomb of the Reaper on the side of AOG. That's a little risky because there's so much lifesteal and AoE damage coming from the side of Immortals that if they're not able to kill the Tulin or L'Oreal fast enough, they're going to sustain and be able to fight and last in these fights to take out AOG.
Yeah, and the gold lead now back here for the side of Immortals. They weren't quite able to finish out that dragon as well, so not going to get that additional little burst of gold here. 80's Heroes is going to look to pick up that blue buff, but in the bottom lane, we see Allegiance baiting this out. MTS is going to try and bait him into the bush, but I don't think Immortals is going to fall for that. They smell a trap.
Yeah, they definitely do here. And look at the Preda pushing. They're going to try to get onto this turret here. Oh, an invasion onto KZ Fox, and another engage comes out.
KZ Fox is in a world of hurt right now. He's going to drop. The knockups are too much for the side of Allegiance here. All this damage coming through. MTS is getting very low as well. But actually, through all of this, the lifesteal, the sustained ability of Immortals, you called it. 80's Hero
They have to
are you
kill
kidding me?
L'Oreal.
Are you
L'Oreal is so
kidding me?
good into this composition. They might be able to end this game. They have a siege minion here. That is actually enough time to finish the game. As long as they keep the siege minion alive, that's 30, 25 death timers. That is going to seal the deal here. They have to keep the siege minion alive, let him get to the core, and they can close out this game. And then Xer is going to use his ultimate, and this is going to be GG for the side of Immortals. Well done team fighting by them.
Immortals is going to clutch it out in game number 1. Some of the craziest team fights we've seen yet. Allegiance looked like they had it, but pulling it out by the skin of their teeth. Immortals take game number 1.
They clawed, they scratched, they fought their way back to a victory, and game number 1 goes to Immortals over Allegiance. And scrappy is the easiest and the most accurate word to put that game, because it was both teams back and forth, and the last 2 team fights decided by 80s Hero again, who has been showing unbelievable prowess on that L'Oreal.
Yeah, late game L'Oreal just counters that composition completely. You can see that AGL came back in the game because 80s Heroes actually overextended and was caught out twice a few times, even in the home base. So as soon as L'Oreal is deleted, ALG's easily won the fight. With the build though, Aegis is such a good item L'Oreal because attacker that hits L'Oreal loses attack speed and also is slowed by 15% movement. So the build from 80s Hero is really good in L'Oreal.
And one of the things we saw in that late game too is that KZ Fox became the priority target, which was fine for Immortals because it meant that 80s Hero was allowed to play his game. They had so many threats. Look at the threats.
38% damage to heroes for his team.
That is monstrous.
Yeah, and that's why if they don't kill, like I called it, if they don't kill L'Oreal, they're going to lose every fight no matter what. L'Oreal is just too good against a dive comp because they all want to bunch up, they all want to initiate, and L'Oreal thrives on that. And especially under her ultimate, you cannot fight L'Oreal under her ultimate. I've seen Hanzo in SEA come back from a 10k deficit, 1v5ing an entire team with L'Oreal because of that build and how she's played. And this is why L'Oreal is so good into tanky compositions that want to dive you. She's like an anti-dive mage because of her mobility, and that's why 80s Hero just played her so well to carry that game.
And you want to talk about the Immortals turning things around. That's going to be our one and only replay of the day. It was just over 14 minutes, and this is where Immortals started to turn things back on their end.
Yeah, you can see there, they're not focusing L'Oreal. She's in her smite, her judgment circle. 80s Hero actually comes out of it. He jumps back into it, but look at the AoE damages coming out. The slows everywhere, constantly. They cannot touch and get onto L'Oreal. I mean, the constant slows that she gives with the blink, it's too much. And she does true damage. The explosions from her passive, that's what does so much damage. It gives her life regen and also is AoE damage explosion on top of her wheel. I mean, she does so much damage. That's why you cannot bunch up against L'Oreal.
That, the Lubu, the self-sustain when they start to go off there in that late game, if you don't immediately CC and burst them down, you just lose, as was just experienced there by ALG. Yeah. They found out the hard way.
Allegiance, however, are not ones to be ruled out because they have lost matches before and have been able to come and do the reverse sweep themselves. So now the next question that I ask you, Inverim, what does Allegiance change in Game 2?
I think they come down to, I think part of that was lost in draft, but I think part of that was lost in their decision-making coming into that mid to late game. When they were able to pick targets in that top, they were totally fine when they were able to go in and initiate, but they just lost it a bit. The second they try something and it doesn't work, they falter. They kind of move away from it. And that's the problem. They need to, just because it doesn't work one time doesn't necessarily mean that it's not the right call. They need to be confident in their play and also, I think, rethink that draft a little bit.
Yeah, Immortals just had good collapses. I mean, they got Zuka. They shut down MTS, and he was my player to watch. And because MTS could not scale with Zuka, and like I said, Zuka just falls off. When he cannot get his items, he does not get ahead. Zuka is not really that much of a threat. And they use a lot of their abilities and combos onto the wrong hero. If they got L'Oreal, they would have won every fight, but they just couldn't because the position of Taylor 80s Hero was a lot better in the late game because in the mid game, he actually outpositioned and got caught out. And because he changed that up, he was able to carry his L'Oreal.
Well, we've got one more replay to show you. It's the final replay with a team fight that ended the game, and this is where we saw Immortals completely take over.
Yeah, look at Laura. She's not getting any damage. She's in her judgment circle doing so much AoE damage. They're trying to get on her. At that point, you don't try to engage Laura in her ultimate like that. You just need to run away. That was a really tough call by AOG. They're trying to fight a L'Oreal on top of her smite. That is, you're asking yourself to win. She has both buffs. She has the slow from the red buff and the blue buff to basically give her that extra cooldown and extra magic damage. And that's what helped them really close out the game.
So now I've got to ask you, obviously, strategies are going to be changing for both teams, despite Immortals winning. Obviously, their strategy is going to be altered a little bit. Let's think forward to the ban phase, because Immortals are going to be taking up the blue. Do they ban the Superman away? Do they want to put Superman into their hands? Obviously, you've got prowess on Superman as a whole. Allegiance banned it because they just didn't want to play it. Do Immortals employ the same strategy?
Yeah, I don't think they do. I mean, Superman is such a strong pick. They did that against Team Upsala, so I don't think banning Superman on A side is that smart. You want to just first pick him. He's just too good into any composition. He can just dive through a front line, initiate. He has two abilities that remove control effects on him. So this guy is just a monster, and I don't think there's any reason to ban him on A side.
After how well Bobo played him in game number 1 of that last series, yeah, no. Let him through.
However, Bobo likes to get caught out. He likes to overextend, a little overconfidence, causing him some debts there.
So obviously as well, you have Zuka prioritized by MTS. Despite the lackluster showing that he had in game 1, is that still an option for him to pull out on the table because they've got the reactionary options of potentially picking a Wonder Woman or something with maybe a little bit more CC to help out the team?
Yeah, I think that would work. I think if we pick Zuka, you have to win the early game. Preda is just not strong early. Preda takes a while to scale, and I think that was the challenge here. Their draft just was competing with each other, and Zuka never shined. I mean, he just got locked down, knocked out, and if Zuka gets engaged upon, he's pretty much useless in a lot of team fights.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a struggle here too. And again, the Preda, it did okay work, but the entire side of Immortals was so nimble. They're all over the place. They're constantly dipping, diving, dodging, and he's sitting there like, I'm going to channel. Woohoo! Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just didn't feel nearly as impactful in those fights. I think, again, if that was a Kali, I think those would have been very different initiations. Just saying.
All right, if you're Immortals, you have an opportunity to first pick on this blue side. Bans aside, who is the priority pick for the Immortals on that first?
I think you don't give Sleepy Liliana. If Superman's open, you have to take Superman. So I think also if Teamy's open, I mean, Big Beginnings did play a little aggressive on that team.
Lumber too has been so
Lumber is
prioritized.
really good. I mean, Rest's Lumber was amazing. I mean, he did so many good ultimates onto Immortals that won him a lot of trades, and they caught Mina off guard many times. So Beginnings' positioning was kind of a little overextended too. But I think for the first pick, it has to be Superman, or you have to take Liliana if it's not banned.
Is there a warrant for leaving Liliana and Superman open, potentially?
Oof. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, it's not going to see it. We're not going to see it.
Well, I mean, if your second pick, you leave up an OP, or you leave up 2 OPs. You leave up the 2 that you want. You force through, theoretically, you leave up 3, and then you let them pick the one that they think is going to be good. Okay, they get the one, but then you get 2 other strong heroes. It's a classic ban strategy. We've seen it time and time again. We'll see how they
We're
going to
see in
here.
just a second because the bans have been completed and we're ready to rock them
there we go.
and sock
There it
them
is.
and get them for you. Justice League bros, or Justice League duos rather, are off the board. Wonder Woman, Kilgroth, and Superman. Me, Max, and Liliana is off. What's the first pick?
Could be the Tulin or the L'Oreal. I think it's a good first pick. I mean, Lumber is also a good pick, but you're going to give Double Mage to the side of Allegiance. Again, Double Mage is pretty strong.
One or the other. It's one or the other.
It works if you know how to execute it. There's also Ryoma Lubu, but I think the first pick-wise, it's going to be a Mage. It's got to be one of the mages.
I feel like it
Tulin
has
or
to be L'Oreal.
I feel like it has to be L'Oreal. I feel like it has to be L'Oreal.
80s hero has been playing too well on L'Oreal. Pick that, get the comfort. If they counterpick the L'Oreal and try to have some sort of lockdown onto her, you still have 4 more picks to build that composition for that protection, you know?
Yes, I agree 100%. I mean, Tulin had an impact. Casey Fox he was the distraction that was allowing L'Oreal to win the game. L'Oreal was
They
the
engaged
X-factor.
onto KZ Fox
100% of the time.
But
100% of the time.
80s hero is known for his Tulin. I mean, Tulin is literally his best hero. So let's see what they're going to decide here.
maybe not be might not. Well, it might be his best hero. I'm not sure it's Immortals' best hero.
So with Wonder Woman taken off as well, do you? I know we worry about the double mage. Obviously, L'Oreal Tulin going in the same hands, but do you potentially take the Lumbar away, go for the first pick Lumbar, and risk the double mage into their hands? Or
but if there's double mage, you can play Morin. I mean, I think that Allegiance with Morin, they're
scary.
huge. I mean, Rocker is probably the best Morin in NA. I mean, KZ Fox also played a really good Morin as well.
I think Rocker.
So I feel like they'll probably take, if Allegiance doesn't take Morin, then I feel like Immortals will take it away from them and deny it for Rocker. And with Max being banned, I mean, the ADCs are a little more viable because of that. But then that means a Zephy's comp will come out. If you
Even
pick an ADC, Zephy's will probably be picked.
There's obviously a huge decision that Allegiance is going to have to make. Assuming L'Oreal gets picked off first, do you go with the Lumbar that you prioritized in the last time and then pick up the Tulin, or do you go with the Tulin and the Morin? I feel like you have to pick the Tulin because if you put the double onto the side of Immortals, that's essentially giving them the GG. But do you prioritize the Lumbar, or do you prioritize getting the comfort pick of the Morin into the hands of Rocker?
Yeah, I think if Tulin is picked, then I think comfort picking the Morin is really solid draft strategy for Allegiance. Rocker is just phenomenal on Morin. I mean, the way that he plays him, his positioning, he's a little aggressive though, so he could get caught out. So let's see what's going to happen if you're going to first pick that
L'Oreal into
Tulin.
No, okay, they're trolling us there. So Tulin, okay. All right, he's going to go with the Tulin. That's fine.
But that still leaves open. I mean, obviously, you still get the switch. So the L'Oreal has to happen.
Morin is also definitely
L'Oreal has to be picked here.
And
no.
You're right.
They're going to give it over.
However, ADC is good into mage because the range. The range is really good. They have to dive onto the Morin, which is really hard based on how Rocker plays him. So let's see if they're going to do their double mage. I doubt it. They're going to probably pick Lubu and like Roma to get solid side lanes and then pick a draft around that counters the Morin.
I think that's totally smart. Now you just give L'Oreal. I mean, he just must think that, okay, I can beat a L'Oreal as a Tulin. And that's totally fine because that's what Allegiance is going to go with here.
Yeah, L'Oreal is going to get picked up. We've got the fourth pick being picked for Allegiance. They can decide to go something for the Zephyr's option.
Zephy's side lane. That's definitely a Zephy's side lane there.
Called that,
which we've seen before, and they played it really well. KO actually has a pretty solid Zephy's. So knowing that there's a Zephy's being picked here, they're going to probably go all dive here.
I like the Kriknak. We haven't seen the Kriknak pop up too much in NA. I like the Kriknak as well as the Ormar.
This is extremely early game aggression right here. Immortals is going to shut them down early because if they don't win early game, L'Oreal is going to destroy them in the late game. So they have to close out this game early. Kriknak did get a change, but he does percentage health damage, 10% HP with Terrifying Plague, and then number of auto attack. So he's really good into tanky heroes like a Zephy's or an Omen, and he can just shut them down.
So what worries me for this, yes, early game, great, but the difficulty with early game compositions, if the enemy team is able to stall it out by any means, considering the composition that Allegiance has, they're going to win. So, with the aggressive playstyle that we're used to Allegiancing, how is Immortals going to be able to counteract that in the early game jungle with this Kriknak?
Oh my god, they have Ormar. Ormar is so strong early game. Ryoma is extremely strong too. You have Tulin, who's also really strong. Once he reaches level 2, Tulin outshines a lot of mages in early game. And then Kriknak, I mean, his ability and his damage potential is so high once he gets his items. This is a very, very interesting strategy that may pay out for Immortals.
Or we could see game 3.
Or we could see game 3. We could potentially see game 3, but we've got to get ourselves to game 2 first. And we want to know what you think. Is Allegiance going to tie things up, or will Immortals keep their name send and win week 1? Head over to Twitter and use the hashtag Valor Series to let us know your predictions on who you think is going to win. But with that, we aren't going to keep you waiting any longer. We've got game number 2 of the North American Finals for week number 1 here in the Valor Series, presented by AT&T.
It is Immortals up against Allegiance. Thank you so much, Jump, for kicking us off here. And already Immortals are having a fun time with the invade, and Allegiance is going to do the same thing because this is what we do now. Taking your own jungle, so passé.
Oh, they miss it. He misses the X tiers, misses the punish. He was so close to getting that. That punish almost took it. And if he did, and 80 hero steals the jungle monster just like that. And that's not a bad trade so far for the side of Immortals, but they're even right now.
I mean, I guess that's one way to start the game here is 80's heroes going up against Sleepy here in this mid lane. Sleepy, I feel like he was kind of a non-factor in that last game. We didn't really talk about him a ton. He was always there doing consistent damage, but he was never the reason the Allegiance was winning, as opposed to their earlier game. I feel like he was a huge factor in that victory there for them. I think that's going to be a big... He needs to step up his game here in game number 2.
Yeah, and look at how Ormar is playing. In beginnings is playing super aggressive with him. They want to get the jungle creep, and then Kriknak is getting his double buff here. This is a really good time to jump on the KO because he's going to be in big trouble right here.
Good night, Sweet Prince. That is it. KO is gone, finding the knockout punch. The 1-2 coming in from coming in on the side there of Immortals. That is one way to start this off. That is going to be first blood here as 80s Heroes is reasserting his dominance here in the middle lane, and Beginnings and KZ Fox once again are here. If Sleepy steps up, puts a toe out of line, he's going to find it swiftly and surely removed.
Yeah, what a good gank there by the side of Immortals. You know, you want to do a gank when you get the red buff and blue buff like that, because the red buff, when you land on the enemy, your attacks slow them down, and that stun from Roma was huge. And look at that play there. Nice job by Rest, barely dodging that Wailing Blade stun by Ryoma there.
Yeah, that was huge, but now we see Morin in the back. Sleepy is here as well. The Abyssal Dragon is being kited away here, and they're trying to bring it back, but it is Beginnings looking to try and peel for the squad, but they need to be careful here as KO is looking to start. They're going in. Look at the damage. The slows are massive here. KO needs to be careful not to overextend. It is Beginnings, though, and KO will fall. He went back in, trading out. Now 2 for 1. Nicely done. KZ Fox and crew are going in, though. Rocker needs to be careful, but Lumbar is joining the party. Rest is going to do his best to peel for his team, but it is Beginnings who falls.
Yeah, and that was a really tough trade for the side of Allegiance there. They lost the Dragon and traded kind of even on debts there, and now it's 3-2, and Immortals has a decent 1k gold lead at the 3-minute mark.
So not a bad little lead here for the side of Immortals. Again, they've had the benefit of playing games back to back to back to carry this momentum through. Allegiance had to play a set and then take some time off. They had to chill, and maybe they're sort of feeling that a little bit here for them. Immortals is still feeling fresh, solid here. Their play is looking very crisp. Something we often comment and you know, on Allegiance, that their play is
Oh, that was unfortunate reset there. They're not going to be able to get that red buff, and that's really bad for the side of Allegiance here.
As they're going in on to Rest in the back, he's able to back himself out. 80 now is getting very low. The red buff is going to fall as X-Tears is going in on to Sleepy. He's going to set himself up, but that is the execution. Putting him on ice quite literally here is the side of Immortals, and now it is Rocker who's under threat, but KO from the flank, beautifully done here. Now is KZ Fox stepping on way too far. The CC, the stun is there. KZ Fox running for dear life as MTS is going to look to execute this with the counter engage. Coming in here from X-Tears. Plays on plays on plays, counter to counter to counter. This is chess on the highest level.
Yeah, KZ Fox overextending, and his team, they say, hey buddy, I got your back, and they come up to save his life because he was getting collapsed on 3-on-1, and that was, I mean, he has a huge level. He's level 6, and that was a good fight for them to have, but that was kind of a risky play, but it played off for the side of Immortals there.
So now Immortals 9.2 to 7.4, make it 9 point. They're just bringing the gold in 5-3 here. They got the Dragon over Allegiance. They are feeling very comfortable here in this early game. But of course, that's what their draft was built for. If they were behind, I would be concerned, but now it is Rest going in here onto 80's Hero, but he's still in a really tough position. The slow is coming in, and that is going to be the takedown. Beginnings is trying to peel from his best he can, but it's not going to be enough. He's probably going to drop here as well. Easy Fox and crew are going to win. No, somehow Beginnings survives the counter initiation as well from Sleepy. Bobo is going off in this game. This is the grand finals, and they're showing it is going back and forth. The kills. X-Tears are going to try and find the kill onto KO. He's going in and out of the bush. Can they secure the takedown? And yes, they will find it. Quicknack is joining the fray as well. Beginnings is there.
KZ Fox came in and just cleaned that fight up. I mean, 80's Hero went aggressive on Tulin. He was a 2v4, and that was a really bad situation. He kind of put himself into there, and he got punished. But KZ Fox was able to come in and clean up that fight and put it in the favor of Immortals. And that was a huge play and rotation by KZ Fox there.
That was massive. Again, every time I feel like one side is about to clutch out and cinch the fight, somebody shows up from the other team. And the rest, I think, they're going to turn it around. Somebody shows up from the other team. Again, the rotations are always there. The sheer synergy, teamwork coming in from both these squads is impeccable. Immortals is just ever so slightly ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if people know this, but Kirknack on KZ Fox, he's probably the best Kirknack jungler in North America. He actually spammed it a lot of times to get to Conqueror level, so it's amazing to see him play this Kirknack here to such a high degree.
As he almost misses that minion killer. Yes, but up in the top lane, X-Tears is finding himself in a really rough 2v1 situation, but he knows that even if he falls here, it's likely going to come to 2 kills. Look at the lifesteal. The sustain is there, and now Rocker is in a rough spot. I think he is likely going to drop here as well. And no, there it is.
Yeah, KZ Fox is just always coming in to clean up the out of position his teammates are having there. They're getting rotated on and getting caught out. But that Conqueror ultimate came at the right time. He lasted long enough just for KZ Fox to come up there and clean up. And this is a positive trade for Immortals, so it's not bad even though they hand over that death. It's really, really good for the side of Immortals.
Yeah, now it is KO up against Bobo here in the bottom of the map, but Beginnings is like, hey friend, I got your back. Bobo with a quick spin,
wow.
a quick stun.
And KZ Fox again comes in to clean up. This guy's at 10-0. 10-0. He has 10 kills on the side of Immortals out of the 11 kills. This is a crazy
for context,
game.
Immortals
what is going
only
on?
has
this insect,
11 kills.
This insect is he's infesting everybody.
He creeped out of the woodwork, and he's showing why cockroaches will survive the apocalypse in this instant right now. It is crazy how much damage coming in on a hero that we don't normally see right now. This guy is going off in every conceivable metric we have to measure skill. This man is performing.
Oh my god, look at the insect coming back again. And looks like they're going to get KO here. Nice rotation by the side of Immortal. I love that positioning in that brush there. You want to do that. A lot of high tier teams, they position in the brush behind the tower and get the gank there.
This man is scary, and his X tiers standing strong under the tower that is no longer going to exist for very long. The self-stands there. Let's maybe keep watching that. Here we go. Yes, it is X tiers 1v3ing up here in the top lane, but he is going to fall. Nicely done from the side of Allegiance to find something on the map. But in the meantime, that is another dragon. Dragon number 3 for Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, amazing play so far. Allegiance is just fighting back just as hard, but they're going to give this free tier 1 mid tower over it. They lost 2 towers for 1, so this trade has not really worked out in their favor. They're getting negative net trades here, and Allegiance needs to come back in this game and try to get some positive trades.
This is going to be a big part of the game right now for Allegiance, because talk about running the table. And the idea of running the table here, and Immortals is doing that in spades right now. They are controlling this battleground from start to finish. Yeah, 7 kills the way of Allegiance, but they've sort of been the table scraps thrown their way, you know what I mean? Immortals has been the ones controlling this here.
And look at this Cricknack here. He's coming up in there. KZ Fox on Cricknack. It's just, wow, what a beast.
It's scary, but this is what their comp was designed for. It was all about that early game. We knew this was the case. You called it. So they have to get ahead early, because talk about what's going to happen as we go into this late game. Can Immortals continue to carry this hard?
Yeah. Cricknack is actually Captain Kirk.
Ah.
That's why. That's why it makes him OP.
There you are. Captain Kirknack.
But now what Allegiance needs to do, they need to slow their bleeding. They are falling behind dramatically, and Immortals is exactly doing what they need to do with their win condition. They're winning the early game. They're punishing them. They need to catch people that are off guard, and Beginnings is playing much better. He's not getting caught out. X tiers is now getting caught out instead of Bobo, but look at this positioning. So aggressive. They're going to try to get a gank here, and let's see if it's going to work out for the side of Immortals.
Both teams have tried to set up some cheeky little bushes here in the jungle, but neither team is following.
Ooh, they're collapsing onto Bobo here. He's in trouble. He does not have the best disengage. He uses Flicker, but they're going to basically sacrifice his life for the Dark Slayer.
Yeah, and I think that's the best trade they could have made here as well. So nicely done there from them, realizing that, yeah, he's gone, but let's not make your death count for nothing. And he just sighs and says, space created.
Yeah, let's see. And then the Abyssal Dragon is key. They need the experience gap. I mean, if you look at the levels here, look at KZ Fox. He is level 14 on this insect. That is so scary. Look at, they can't even contest. They get another tower, and it's 4 versus 5 right now because Bobo is not up. And Allegiance is kind of handing these towers over and not fighting back and contesting.
Yeah, but that Dark Slayer buff is a huge factor here. You cannot deny how much of an impact it's going to have. The ult totally whiffs coming in from the side of Allegiance. That Lumber ult is going to be down, so they need to be careful. 80 heroes with the poke is going to start to throw that in.
1,200 damage from that poke. Did you see that?
That was crazy. Split amongst 3 targets, too. 80's hero, he's just hitting like a freight train right now. We have surpassed truck levels. We are all the way to freight train. Let's see if he advances to rocket speeds.
Yeah, they're afraid to engage onto KZ Fox here. And look at this, the damage on the Zephyrs. Bobo is coming up. It's a 4v5, and Allegiance is kind of scared. They don't want to take this fight. They want to play really safe here, and I feel like this is their chance to get back into this game.
They didn't know where Bobo was. They had a funny feeling he might have been sitting in a bush. In reality, they didn't know that KO is going in. He's forced to back out. Now the stuns are in. KO is down. That is it, the knockout punch. Wow! And they are ripping them apart. ALG is getting destroyed here on the high ground. Immortals are going off 80s heroes.
This might be the
and
game.
crew.
They have a siege minion.
They're
they have a
pushing
siege
it
minion.
onto the
This is
core.
going to be the game.
This is going to be it in convincing fashion. 2-0 Immortals is going to be your North American champion here for week number 1 in the Valor series. Immortals going off.